Hey, this is Kayla interrupting before the start of the podcast to say that Psychodungeon, my fantasy workplace action drama played with no dice and no masters, is now funded on Kickstarter, but it still has until June the 20th to hit any new stretch goals. Some of the ones coming up, don't know if they may have been passed or hit by the time of release. Include some additional dungeon textures, including some themed around gender dysphoria and medical trauma, a scenario dungeon just to sort of aid in like quick setup one-shot play, as well as examples of plays and the potential of an 8th new playbook. There's more details all over at psychodungeon.ratwave. Please check that out and enjoy the rest of the episode.
Welcome to Game Soup. It's a game design podcast where we throw ideas in a pot. I'm Chloe Montgomery. Well, oh god.
And see what's cooking.
Yeah, I've already messed up the intro.
You've got to include this intro as a thing, though, because
Yeah,
we're live.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're Chloe Montgomery. Who am I?
Yeah. Who are you?
You haven't introduced me.
Oh, I got it. It's your game designer's favorite game designer.
Oh, that's the nice one. I thought we were sticking with your girlfriend's girlfriend.
No, I'm mixing it up every week.
I thought you said you wanted to stop mixing it up every week because it was getting too stressful. That's great.
Well, give me 6 weeks and I'll change it again.
This is, for the benefit of the podcast listening audience, a live show we are doing at UK Games Expo with a crowd of people. Hello. Thank you for coming out and supporting a live podcast. Just to get some sort of check on the crowd we've got in. You want to raise your hand if you've listened to the show before? I'm not going to be offended. Okay, cool. So then everyone else is new. So yeah, like Chloe said, we're a game design podcast. Often our approach will often come with different ideas. We're improving individual ideas and then sort of seeing what sort of loose associations we come up with. And we try to commit to not opening a Google Doc and actually writing a game. But we have failed before and we will fail again.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we generally take 2 words, put them together, see if we can make a game from that.
Yeah. And otherwise, I've also described the podcast as, 1 part design, 1 part improv comedy, which makes me hate myself, and 1 part public humiliation of one host who knows which. So, do we want to kick off just going straight into a game?
Yeah,
or do you want to do some preamble of how our UK Games Expo has gone so far?
All 1.5 hours of it.
Yeah, like, I've not worked at a store. You've not worked at a store. I did setup yesterday.
Yeah.
You didn't do setup
No, I drove for 6 hours from Newcastle.
How was that? Did anything interesting happen? In a car for 6 hours? What music do you listen to in the car?
I think we put on Spotify and asked it to play songs like Mystery Skulls, and then it played 1 Mystery Skulls song and then nothing else.
And then it was just like, no, there's nothing else.
No.
This is the end of it.
Yeah.
I love the idea if you our songs like Spotify songs like this, and it's like, bad news, chief. There's no songs like this.
There's no good songs, sorry.
This is unique alone in the universe. This creature is...
And like 1 episode of a Doctor Who audio drama, and then I was like, I don't want to listen to the rest of it.
You feel like you're always on the verge. I feel like you are always on the verge of getting aggressively into Doctor Who audio dramas.
I don't know,
It could happen at any moment.
it felt not good.
That makes sense. I buy that like
felt,
this.
for an audio drama, like pretty high production value, but like not something I'd want to listen to. Like it feels on the level of like Night Vale or whatever, but it didn't feel like something I'd sit down and listen to.
That makes sense. Like it was well made, but not entertaining.
Yeah.
Was it a well recommended audio drama, or do you think you maybe just accidentally started at the dregs?
We might have started at the dregs, but like we're listening to like a podcast that is like an official like release of like here's the good ones.
Oh yeah, they did that remote. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an interesting thing I've had because like obviously like a role playing game doesn't have to be
presented in a book, but it always is just because that's the best and easiest way for like reference and learning it. But like, what if you tried to convey the rules of a game exclusively in an audio drama?
That's just an actual play. That's how I
No.
learned Dungeons and Dragons, through an actual play.
Yeah, but I'm like, there is otherwise no book.
Okay.
The format of this game presented is purely in an audio drama or something else, which I'm aware, as I suggest this is a terrible, inaccessible idea. I'm not suggesting I do this because it's a good idea. I'm suggesting, could it be done at all?
I mean, I think...
Yeah, but the more accessible thing would be to have that as well as other formats, not just...
Yeah, it's like at the table, oh, I need to look up a rule. Hang on, episode 5, 20 minutes in.
I learned by playing, actually. I'm dyslexic, so it's like trying to rerun the rule books is kind of just overbearing.
Yeah.
I'm going to repeat this, any
Yeah.
questions or comments just for the mic audio. That was someone saying that they learn mainly by playing because of dyslexia and finding it true. I always definitely understand games more while playing. Like, there are loads of games I will look at, read the rules, and go, oh, I understand these, but I don't actually understand them. I know what they
Yeah.
are and could explain them to someone else, but I don't know how this is fun yet. I'm not going to name names, but find me.
But you have them in your head.
Yeah, I have some immediately come to my head. To be fair, it's mainly more crunchy games because I don't have a crunchy game background.
Yeah.
So I guess as it gets closer to board games, I'm like, oh, I understand this.
So I'm trying to think of how I would design a game so that it's learnable by audiobook, and I'm thinking it's probably all entirely those bits in a normal book that is like, here's an example of play.
So yeah, you're doing an extended... I don't think this is an actual play.
It's a
because I
scripted
think this
actual
is...
play.
Yeah, we've aggressively scripted this. We have moments where people turn to the camera and say things like, and of course, oh God, I wish Kayla were here. No, because that's what people say when they're scripted.
I'm thinking it's like at an old E3 press conference, and it would be like, oh, we've got some real gamers here to play, like, Lancer.
That's a great... I do enjoy this element where because if we've scripted it, we've got the, like, 3 layers, because there is an actor playing a character who is playing a character.
Yeah.
And maybe also I feel this game should be a wrestling-based game so that their character also has a
character's playing a
4th layer
character.
of kayfabe. But yeah, I guess so you're saying entirely scripted actual play, and it's only a thing like, can you decipher the rules of play?
And that's the game.
Yeah, I guess
It's
in
an
itself, like,
ARG.
there's this weird exercise for someone writing down the rules and then probably trying to teach them to someone else.
Yeah, I think, like, you would have to write a full rule book, and then also...
Yeah, you'd have to write it for, like, the script. There'd be so much stuff that you would, for the gimmick of this to work, just refuse to ever release, even though you put a lot of work into it, and it was probably be really helpful.
Yeah.
I definitely think I could one day make a pivot into bizarre art objects.
Yeah, no, this would be...
I think my stuff is all quite playable at the moment, but I could make a hard pivot into just doing bizarre art objects.
It's a bit Yoko Ono.
Yeah, I did half an English degree. The other half was a film one. I did finish the degree. And so learned a lot about postmodernism. So I'm always, I think, just like one bad day away from becoming the most pretentious person you've ever met.
Just one day away?
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, okay. Have you ever read any of Yoko Ono's poems? Because they are very living game.
That makes sense. I've not. I know very little about Yoko Ono.
Yeah, I don't know anything about her other than people dislike her because of Beatles things, but good poems, good art. I
love the fact. Wait, so you're most familiar with Yoko Ono via her poetry?
Yep.
That's brilliant. That's lovely. Hell yeah. You're the #1 woman respecter on the planet.
It's been said.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Our usual format is 2 words. We smash them together.
Yeah.
So
So
you wanna go for this?
Let's take some words from the crowd.
Does anyone have a suggestion of a word?
People who were here first, go. Potato.
Person who's an actual listener of the podcast, go. Shoelace and potato. So is the potato the main character, you reckon? Or is it about potatoes? Are you potatoes or is it about potatoes? As I think the first question you always need to figure out with making a game soup.
See, I'm thinking your character is like a Mr. Potato Head.
The toy, not an actual potato.
No, an actual potato, because original potato heads were actual potatoes that you had. You got.
Oh,
A
yeah,
box
you just got
that
the-
had bits to put into a potato.
The bullshit.
Yeah, like a mustache, some shoes or whatever. So you have to go to Tesco. You have to buy some potatoes for this game.
I mean, we
Deems
don't
acceptable.
prescribe where
Yeah.
you get potatoes.
Yeah, other shops are available.
Jersey Royals. I think you have to be a bacon potato for Mr. Potato.
Depends on your class.
You've got to be able to stick shit in the potato is the important thing. If you can do that, this is the thing.
Yeah, it's like you get a new potato, you can sneak under things, but like a Jersey Roll, you're tankier.
A junior version of the game where you use baby potatoes.
Like salad potatoes, yeah. Yeah,
So are we in this box giving them Mr. Potato Head shit as well?
I think
I mean, this is
so.
a box game where we've got Mr. Potato Head. So this is a minis game, but with potato heads.
Yes. But we need shoelaces somehow.
Shoelaces have got to involve. So maybe it relates to shoelace code. Maybe this is a goofy game with like Mr. Potato Head, but also all of the plot is around like very serious.
What is shoelace code?
I like people like have different color shoelaces on the Duck Martens to indicate things.
Oh, okay.
I thought you meant the different ways that they lace them.
I've not known that one.
Yeah, ladder lace, yeah. So I was thinking like that Tumblr thing about how you got your shoelaces from the president. I'm not going to lie. So,
I thought usually I'm the one who has to reveal embarrassing things on
Well-
this podcast.
there you go.
Okay, yeah, so shoelaces.
You are a bunch of Mr. and Mrs. and mixed potato heads going to the gay scene, and you have your shoelaces, and
Is this another, we'll make another big dating minis game with Mr. Potato Heads.
I feel like the fact though that you have these minis though implies that you have like some physicality, like or like
Dances can have physicality.
yeah.
I'm always suggesting we do something about a big dance for some reason.
So do you have ideas towards a big dance game?
So, still not here, because I think the thing is, part of me is tempted to just simplify this to shoes, but that's cowardice.
Yeah.
We've got to stick to the laces. I mean, if we're using the potatoes as mechanics, we could use the laces as mechanics as well.
Yeah. Do you? Or is it like you stick the shoelaces into the potatoes, and that's like the red string that's connecting the potatoes, and it's like relationships?
Conspiracy board using Mr. Potato Head miniatures mapped by jabbing the shoelace strings in it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what is the conspiracy that the Mr., Mrs., and mixed potato heads are involved in? I mean, well, like, some of that's figuring it out, but we've got to give people a bit to start off.
Yeah.
We're not just handing people
Here's
Mr.
some
Potato
potato-
Head things, their own shoelaces, and saying, I
Work
know,
it out, guys."
we're pretty brilliant game designers. One of us won an award.
I mean, in my head, it's something to do with like the mob or something, but that's just like very like obvious, like corkboard. stuff.
Yeah. Is there any, like, slang? Does anyone know any slang that potatoes refers to? Spuds.
I mean, technically you've got, is it bangers and mash, but also meat and two veg for Cockney Riley slap.
Yeah, this has now just put me in the mindset of less a crime thing. Maybe it's like you always get like we print out a bunch of cards.
Yeah.
This is a very expensive game while being so niche.
Yeah.
You print out a bunch of cards which just describe a crime on them. Like just
Yeah.
an instance of someone, I guess, being murdered or some kind of crash, or occasionally things that are more just gossipy.
Yeah.
Like someone throws a drink at someone else at this fancy party, says this phrase, and then like you just have to work backwards from that and map out the conspiracy that led to this event that is at the center. But all you
Yeah.
ever have is the event.
Yeah, and you don't even get like, here's the characters involved. It's like
Yeah.
maybe you have to make these Mr. Potato Heads in advance, and then you have to retrofit them into this situation.
Oh yeah, you make them first before you get
Yeah.
the draw of the card. Yeah, that's good. I like this.
It's like you don't know if this guy that you're making is just like a club DJ or the big spud.
Yeah. Someone works really hard on their thing. You do a secret ballot vote on the beautifulest potato head, and then they're always the murder victim. Because this game, in spite of being really goofy, apparently has an antagonistic relationship with the audience.
Yeah.
I think that's a wrap on potato shoelaces, right?
Yeah. I'm thinking it's something to do, like, the name is something to do with being mashed, or I don't know.
Get mashed, yeah. For some reason, I just went bangers to mash. Don't know what that means.
Don't know what that means, but there you go. That's on
Like
the box now.
dead to rights, but bangers to mash. Okay, yeah. So I'd say we go back to the pantry, right?
Yeah.
Okay, raise your hand if you got an idea for a what? Huh? Ennui. Okay, yeah.
Bears.
Ennui bears. Okay, I like this. So the first question here, once again,
Yeah.
what kind of bears are we talking?
Well, my brain was thinking, so it's after the honey heist, and the bears have gotten back to their hideout, and they've got all this honey. Now what? Like, we have all the honey in the world. We've killed all the bee cops.
Yeah, what you said there back to house was sort of like, oh, it's a family drama about the three bears and how they emotionally recover from the home invasion they were victim
Yeah.
to.
It's like, can they ever feel safe in their home again? Can they ever leave their home again? 'Cause
There's a
someone's
lot
just
of
gonna come in.
Yeah, there's a lot of like granular mechanics for like there's every relationship between a family member has a health bar, and just like day by day you're drawing events which are just sort of dwindling it. And like this is maybe the destruction of a family. I think I am going to work through my parental abandonment issues via the free bears who are experiencing ennui.
And I think you have a dice mechanic where if you roll too high, then it's too much of a thing. If you roll too low, not enough of a thing.
Yeah, I think it's a roll under your stat, but also like you've also still got a target number to beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you have to not be outside of this narrow. It's very difficult to get it just right.
Yeah, I feel your stats are probably like I guess these are pre-written characters, and like yeah, Papa Bear has his own sort of stats.
Yeah.
And then I think it's a lot of card random events, which are things in the local neighborhood. Which is also the name of the game. In the neighborhood.
It's a bit difficult to say. So like, what are the events? Like you've run out of porridge. Is it all stuff to do with the original?
I think it
story?
starts that, but then there's also maybe just some stuff which is like really a bit ambiguous to sort of word through. Oh my god! In terms of making this grimmer, my mind has gone to like there's a Goldilocks trial, and you sort of have to decide how you feel. Like maybe Mama Bear's really into this, and Papa Bear's like, I just don't know if I'm. I think like Papa Bear's like I'm convinced by the ideas of prison abolition, and I know you're upset by this. I don't want to refuse to testify because of how it could damage our relationship, but I'm worried I'm having to put a price on my own principles here.
And Baby Bear is also there.
Yeah, I think maybe there's a time skip so Baby Bear can be angsty teen bear. Because I think that's, or maybe their name was Baby.
Yeah. You had a suggestion.
Yeah, I was just thinking like you could run it back round to the whole honey heist thing where actually they need to do a honey heist to pay the lawyer. Because if they've not left the house for years after this,
Yeah.
they don't have any job or any money.
Yeah.
It's actually a prequel.
The
to
bear
Honey
economy
Heist.
is also pretty rough right now.
That was weaker than neighborhood.
That wasn't even a pun. That was just me putting the word bear in front of a regular word.
I thought you said bear economy. So.
No, I said the bear economy.
Well,
Like, I
even
can keep
worse.
doing this. Like, oh yeah, where do they need to go? To the store? The bear store, obviously. So there's a suggestion at the back?
Just because you said nay bearhood, you know how nay is like not a bearhood, so it's actually all the bears working against each other to get all the honey.
I think it's also like, as well as it's probably about divorce trauma and abandonment, but also I think it's about communities. And I think about the fact that, you know, something negative happened to this family, but also maybe they don't have community support to recover from that. Maybe that's why they're sort of isolating. Maybe that's why the cracks. I think it's an anti-nuclear family screed. disguised as a game.
for children. Like we have big cartoon cuddly bears.
I think it's really cuddly, but I do think we say it's like 18 plus.
Okay.
Like we go really 18 plus, and also some of the things are like baby bear gets into. I don't know what would be a drug, but for bears.
Into the honey, and then he
Gets
has
into
to go
bear
on the honey.
ketamine. Yeah, because you could just add bear in front of it. That's how it works. That's how their society works.
Bevawana.
Thank God there's not a big film that came out last year about a bear on a specific kind of drug.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, yeah.
Oh, maybe actually because it's sort of a voice arm, maybe it's just like, I can't bear this anymore, is the name of the game. It's all lowercase.
That's how you end every session.
Yeah,
by
that's how
saying
the
that.
scene always ends. That's your scene out, is just when you say, I can't bear this anymore, but you have to mean that.
Yeah, you can't just say it as a gag.
I think we also say this game has no safety tools. No, obviously it does.
They could get Charlie Kaufman on the film adaptation of it.
Yeah, are we getting Charlie Kaufman on the film adaptation? This is going to be aggressive,
Yeah.
hard to understand, difficult to relate to.
Upsetting.
Yeah. It will get 1-star reviews from national papers
Win 6
describing
Emmy
it as
Awards.
an ordeal.
Cult classic.
Did you have an idea for
I did, but I didn't buy a children's magazine, so we can't do
Oh,
it.
yeah, that was a really fun idea.
My idea was I was going to buy like a kids magazine from the news agents or whatever, and then we would make a game with the free toy inside.
Okay, so if we're going from toys, I do have a thing at home, which just uses a stim toy, which is a spinning top, which is a sort of one of the big classical.
I mean, I've been stimming with this USB stick we bought, thinking we'd need it.
Yeah, we got a bit confused. But like, what could you do with a game of a spinning top?
I'm thinking you have to play out a scene in the time it takes for the spinning top to fall down.
You could get a game mat, have it whatever piece the spinning top lands on is whatever action is performed.
Yeah.
That could work, yeah. That was a suggestion of having a game mat where you spin on it and then where it falls is where you go. That maybe works better because as a timer, spinning tops don't last that long.
No.
I don't think you're getting a scene out of it.
But we've upgraded dice. We've solved dice. We don't need dice anymore. We just need spinning tops and a big Beyblade arena.
I do think there's something fun to like it being competitive if you did have like, because obviously they're still not going to go that much, but like, yeah, you definitely, maybe it's also a good face-off. You're just two spinning tops seeing who lasts longer.
But you just said they don't last very long.
Yeah, but that's why I'm like, as a 1v1, like if you're like, okay, this fight is happening, spin at the same time. Yours went first. Your stamina was fucked.
But I'm thinking it's more like there's a big dartboard that comes with the game. Or is in the book or something. Well, no, like you spin the top onto the dartboard. It doesn't have all the grooves on it. It's like a flat thing. You spin the top, and then wherever it stops is like, it has a little result on it.
Yeah. I think we have so many sub-mechanics. Like, not so many, but I think how many different sub-mechanics. So that's good for what? Actions, is it? Is the idea there that's actions?
Yeah, or like resolutions, like you get it right in the bullseye. That's like the equivalent of a nat 20.
Yeah. So like
And then
that's like
going out further, it's like worse and worse. It doesn't even stop on the thing. Total failure.
yeah, so that's like a nice core mechanic. And then I think there's something like Beyblade showdowns for stuff as well.
But I don't think we could actually have the tops battle. What we would need to do is make it abstract, like in Dungeons and Dragons, where you roll the dice to have people determine if they hit or not. You got to roll the dice to see if your top hits the other top, spinning top, and defeats it in a clash.
Yeah, is the game actually this is a good question. Because obviously Dungeons and Dragons isn't about dice. Like there are no dice in the world of Dungeons and Dragons. So we don't have to have spinning tops be plot relevant, but I feel like we should. Just
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think people will be like, you're just doing this for a gimmick, which is obviously not true.
Yeah, there's no game attached. It's just like a totally new system.
Oh, it's just pure resolution.
Yeah, it's
like
like
this is an SRD for spinning top game.
You've got your Powered by the Apocalypse. You've got your Carved from Brindlewood. You got your Belonging Outside Belonging. You've got your Span from the Top. Something like that. I don't know.
A view from the top.
Sure.
It's like other like children's toys. Like you do combat by playing jacks, and if you pick them up, you hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could
Start demanding people are scouring the trees in autumn for conkers.
Well,
In the inevitable TTRPG adaptation of Christopher Nolan's Inception, how does the spinning top come in handy?
We have a magic spinning top that never stops.
Yeah.
And you can
Yeah,
never
it-
get a result.
This is a question about Inception. That's actually an interesting thing. Like, yeah, if you are doing it for checks, like if it's timed checks, because they don't last very long.
Yeah.
So if it is a thing of like, yeah, spin the top, it's got to last over 5 seconds for you to pass this fucking stealth mission or this
Yeah.
stealth check or something. So yeah, I think we do an SRD of a bunch of mechanics related to spinning tops and include no plot, no characters.
Yeah, I
we're
think-
just rent seeking on spinning tops.
We just like sue everybody who ever uses a spinning top in all RPGs
Yeah.
forever.
And eventually, I'm going to even progress this. We're just going to start suing anyone who releases games made by tops. I'm taking them straight to the high court, the highest court I can find.
I don't think how you know that one.
I like
means
my
tested.
lawyers have
We
their
figure it
means.
out. Yeah, I was thinking like another mechanic is like you can put down like blockages on the board to like stop it landing on certain spots depending on like your stats
Yeah.
or something.
I'm now also like, if you involve dominoes, like make a little domino maze and like, can you plow through it with your spinning top if you're throwing it in a direction? You can spin and push, totally. I've done this. I
It's
know.
a bit shuffleboard. We're not going for shuffleboard. We're trying to get it in the middle of a thing.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, actually, maybe you can just place dominoes on as a
A barrier around the edge.
as a ridge on certain things. And it's like, that's just bad luck. That's, you know, if you're at disadvantage or whatever. I think you should write this as a total conversion D&D hack.
Sure.
Yes.
If you were at disadvantage, you have to spin it with your non-main hand.
Ooh, yeah, if you're at a disadvantage, spin with your non-dominant hand.
Dexterous, you just you never get advantage or disadvantage.
Yeah. Or I start to say you gotta palm together. There I did a gesture for the audience where I was placing like the edges of my hands and suggesting you'd have to spin by just twisting it. Yes, over there.
You could do the personal mechanic with it, with the centre bit being yes and. Yeah, and a bonus, then yes, but, no and, no but.
Yeah.
The closer you get, so then it just does every check. Did I succeed? Yes, and something good happened.
I like that, yeah. As a sort of just like you've really gradiated action stuff but left it open. Because as I said, there's no game here. This is a system.
Yeah.
We're system designers now.
I think also like a nice thing about this kind of system is there is, it's still mostly luck, but there is some skill associated with spinning top.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is an element of skill. So like
People who can like do, like just leave it, because I've seen like I can't spin, I just can't do it. Like I can't even make it to the top. I've got a friend who can spin it and they just keep going.
I think, yeah. This is the thing. I reckon most people are probably not great at spinning tops, but there probably are some people who are bad, which is maybe the unfun thing about this system is like, it's probably really exposed where you're just like, oh, I'm really bad at every part of this. Yeah, like where you could just go, your character is sucking. Like usually it's like, oh, just luck of the draw. It doesn't mean anything about you. It's like, okay, so your character has been thrown in jail and it is because you suck at spinning tops.
But then see, we can start to sell accessories which are like Beyblades, which like automatically spin the top for you.
Play to pay to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that if you wanted to like make it really hard, you could make them do it with their mouth.
Yeah. The only thing there is also it's just like that has touched, unless you have a spinning top each, that's touched so many people's fingers by the time someone's going mouth.
Far more profit.
Yeah.
That's the thing, yeah. I also think we need to become spinning top manufacturers at this point.
Yeah. You've got all your different, like all the stuff out there in the hall. That's going to be spinning tops in 10 years' time.
I'm also going to throw something out there because I think I want to lose about, I reckon, 40 to 60% of the audience.
Go on then.
I don't really get collecting dice. It doesn't make much sense to me.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Less contentious therefore. And mainly it's just like, I'm like, dice are visually all quite similar. Whereas I'm like, I get if someone was really into collecting packs of cards, because that's like unique art on it. And I'm like, you can get a lot. Like, spinning top is a wider design space to make something cute. The spinning top I have at home is designed to look like half a watermelon cut open.
Okay.
And like, I think you could easily get some cuter theming. So I'm into this career segue.
Yeah.
I think we raise loads of money on a spinning top based Kickstarter and then flee the country.
And never release the spinning tops.
Oh yeah, by this career shift, I am thinking we're going to embezzle the funds.
Yeah.
Does anyone have a suggestion for another like children's toy or something? Oh yeah, so the clackers which you spin round. It's the thing, because like that's just like, I think they are called noisemakers. Literally, is
Yeah.
their thing. But I don't know what noise. I mean, noisemakers make noise.
Yeah. Are you like trying to get to a certain decibel? Just to annoy everybody at the table?
I reckon you've got only a certain number of uses of when you're allowed to make noise. I think you make noise to indicate you're about to do something. I reckon this is otherwise like a BOB style token based game.
Yeah.
But like you can also spend your noise
To grab
do-
the attention of
to
the
do
scene.
something, yeah, but you've really got to do it. But it's limited eventually at a certain point, and the way it is when you've used up your noise is, maybe this isn't like full BOB, but maybe it's a bit token based, is because I think there does need to be a GM who personally takes the noisemaker off of you and tells you
This
had
could just
enough.
be putting up your hand, though.
Yes, but this is more annoying and upsetting. Yes?
It's a heist game.
Okay.
The noisemaker is a distraction. You've got steadily reducing stealth pool. But when someone says, oh no, I'm out, I'm making a distraction, as long as they're doing that, everyone else gets to frantic.
Yeah. So a heist game where the noisemaker is used as a literal distraction. That could be interesting.
Yeah.
This does feel like real antisocial game design, which I think I always contemplate but never do. Like every now and then I think, what if I made a game whose design was evil instead of good? I think you automatically pass a check if you're willing to send a regrettable text to an ex-girlfriend. Like that's the kind of game design that comes to my mind. And every day I wake up and I do not publish evil games.
Look, Interstitial 2nd Edition has a move where if you send $5 to the creator, you pass a check. So I think you can just get away with that.
That's brilliant. No, but I think suggesting people do genuinely destructive stuff, like unblock someone you have blocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send your ex a friend request on Facebook.
Message an ex. Send out
Yeah.
on your most used
Likes and
social
pictures.
media. Say this.
Like one from at least 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They're saying that. You know who did Instagram posts of mine going back to at least 2 years ago? I think you did. I think you, or at the very least, you looked through my Instagram because you commented on my stand-up pics, maybe to me directly. I'm just putting our girlfriend on blast in the convention.
Yeah,
hall.
well.
I have an Instagram.
Yes, you have an Instagram. You set it up, stalked my profile, and then never used it again.
Which is what Instagram's for, really.
Stalking Kayla.
Wow.
This is the thing. I do now use Instagram because obviously social media is a bit fucked at the moment.
Yeah.
So I've tried out loads of ones, and at the moment I've sort of settled onto I use Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter still.
Yeah.
I use Tumblr actually as another replacement.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
mean, the
never
thing-
stopped using Tumblr.
Yeah, I quit Tumblr. I don't think it was for any reason, but I just also then lost that account. Whereas Instagram, I've had an Instagram for ages, and I kind of still use that mainly because it's actually a lot of my personal friends still. Which means it's kind of useless for marketing unless I am guilting my friends and family, which does work because you know who backs at the 40 quid tier for Psychodungeon?
Your mum?
My mum and sister. Actually, my sister didn't even claim the reward. She just gave me 40 quid.
Well. So, it's another system. It's powered by doing increasingly cringe things.
Yeah. I think not even necessarily cringe. I think some of it needs to be regrettable.
Yeah.
And is this just you're getting auto successes?
I think depending on how, like, there's a list in the book or whatever that is like, here's how bad you have to do something to like get a better success in your game.
Yeah. I feel like now it's me wondering what is this game about though, because I think there's something really interesting if you're doing this mechanic and it links to. I feel like it has to link thematically beyond just being evil game design. Yeah. Also.
This is kind of feeling more like a party game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can ask people to do embarrassing things just for the sake of it, and obviously the social contract of a party game means more than you'd expect. People would agree. But if this is a role-playing game where you, the person, are burning the social capital you have in real life to achieve success in the game, I feel that's got to mean something. I've got some hands up. I'll go in order and try and repeat what's said for the mic. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think actually a high school drama where the higher the worse thing you do, the higher up the popularity poll you are.
High school drama and its exchange for popularity. Yeah, that works.
Very similar thing, you're trying to get elected.
Trying to get elected. That also works.
I mean, Trump does it all the time.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's a game about being evil and it's called Bad Karma.
Bad karma. I've now also just thought of this third thing because of this fourth thing, because of this relationship where I was like, oh, you're burning yourself for this other person. You are your character's picture of Dorian Gray. Like the character is getting success for you personally having baggage. I think like this is a game where you are not a fictionalized version of yourself, but like you are literally like the portrait. I think like you are like this person does have a portrait or some other thing, and like they are damaging the real you's life.
Yeah.
I think
It's like, how far are you willing to push yourself in the game?
yeah, I think we go a bit like Grant Morrison Chaos Ritual magic with this.
I don't know what that is.
It's just stuff where we're saying that this has a relationship to real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, over there.
I think you could, on like a serious side to it, it could be a great way to, in a friend group, to feel more comfortable with talking about emotional trauma and things you've gone through. Because in that play setting, it's more comfortable to kind of do that. So it could be a good way for people to talk about things they're struggling with, like in a comedic way.
Yeah, silly way.
Like how people kind of reach that topic with their friends. And it's a fun, safe way of doing it.
Yeah, so there was a comment about like, could this be like a nice outlet for engaging with sort of trauma or difficult memories in a safe setting with friends who you might otherwise sort of feel less comfortable with? Because I guess that's the thing, for why these are embarrassing, that is always, or why these are difficult, is always involves a story. If the thing is text your ex, like, if I was told to do that now to do an auto success, I could easily just message friends of mine or people I currently work on a stall for. Like, but also, if the remark is phrased as message an ex you do not want to text,
Yeah, like that's
I've got
that's the
two
highest
options
success.
there, and I have to disclose them to those friends. Even if I'm saying I'm not doing it, there are these two options. Here's what I do, or I might be like, oh, this one's really. It will just be awkward.
Yeah, it's like this one actually does have safety tools. You can just X-card anything. Like,
Oh,
no,
definitely.
I'm not gonna do that. I failed the
Yeah, you
the
take
check.
the fail. But then there's also like the levels, because it's the thing. There's an ex-girlfriend I'd say where I would never want to message them for success of the game. There's one where I'm like, this would be really awkward. I'd survive it. I'd just find it so awkward, and I'd find it so awkward that I knew I opened this fridge because of a game to get a fucking skill check passed.
Tasks worse. How about go on Twitter and defend Donald Trump?
Yeah, I feel there's a lot of like definitely public embarrassment a possibility. Like, and that's an interesting where it relies so much on your own social media. Because I think
Yeah.
if I said post something embarrassing on Instagram, and Alyssa, who has an Instagram account but doesn't remember to use anything about it, that's kind of pointless for her.
Yeah, I think it's like at the start of the game, you like choose some of your social media accounts that you actually use.
Yeah, I think there's maybe also saying about like these challenges, I guess, are maybe like locked into different things. So like also that's the thing, you could pick off like, oh, this is a deck. I keep suggesting deck stuff, but easily could be just like oracle linked. Like, oh yeah, all of these oracles or whatever are linked to personal relationship issues. So you could just like at the start of the video, like, I'm not doing any of the interpersonal ones.
Yeah.
It's like cool, but you're but being like, I'm super down to embarrass myself on social media, or I'm super down to record, like allow you to record videos of me saying things.
Yeah.
Yep, over there.
You could balance it automatically and all those, get rid of the problems with that by having it bidding.
bidding is...
Narrative control. I will text my ex. I'll do worse than that. I'll take a video of me having an awful rant and post it on.
Yeah, so here the suggestion was you're bidding it. So I think this turns it into a bit of a sort of PvP thing. I think we've still got this idea of like, yep, you're sacrificing... I think it's you in character are suggesting I will sacrifice my paintings.
Yeah, my patrons.
Yeah, my patrons element. You've got to do that bid. I also like that because, yeah, that's a sort of PvP element. I think this is and this is maybe me descending into self-parody. I think this is a messy interpersonal drama involving magic in a modern setting.
I think I do like the suggestions where you got a couple scenarios in the book. So you do have like this high school popularity thing. You've got like the business world.
I think, yeah, it's like a lot of different, like maybe like almost play sets for settings. So like you said, corporate bullshit, high school, getting elected, which you could then do that in loads of different things. Like, because you could do that really small. You're getting elected for your student union in university, which everyone will take really seriously, but it's kind of a bit meaningless. Or you're getting elected for like the highest of office or like parish council.
It's all with the same.
But like obviously the game
though.
always treats them with the same gravitas, but like you can go in different directions. Yeah.
Has to be a winner for this. Like, I don't think you can finish this game without a winner.
Oh yeah, I think someone very much emerges as the winner, and all of the other characters are probably like severed from their portraits. That's the thing, because the winner in character is probably the person, the player,
who's embarrassed
who did the worst things overall. Like they are as a player, they are a loser. But their character is won because their character has used them up.
It's a commentary on how people who do the worst things
I think this is like the opposite of Bleed, almost. Like, it's very much like, it is, you're not getting bleed between you and your character is hurting you.
Yeah.
I think this probably has a cool name. I still don't know if I want to invest into unethical game design, but I am now more tempted than I was before we started this conversation.
Go ahead.
Two things. A, Bleed Fury, yay, for the win. And you should have everyone post something like politically outrageous on Twitter, and then everyone puts their phone on loud in the middle of the table, and the first person to get a pop-up is the one that wins. So that way you're still embarrassing yourselves, but it then gets the timer of how quickly does it blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a suggestion about like, oh, if you get responses. I think that's also the thing, because there's probably some skill checks you might want to do about like, oh, frighten, like where you're trying to get an emotional reaction out of someone else who is maybe not in the game. And so then it's like, okay, you've got like, they've got 10 minutes to reply. If not, you've done this, but also that skill check has failed because you picked your audience wrong. I like this. It's fucked, but I like it.
It reminds me of that Michael McIntyre bit where he steals an audience member's phone and sends a message to everybody in their phone book.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's nothing, but
No, yeah. Michael McIntyre's big game is, I guess, what we can call this. Oh, I don't know. I think it's probably, yeah. It's got something about, like, burning or bleeding.
Self-Immolation.
Yeah.
The selfie of Dorian Gray.
Selfie of Dorian Gray. I think there's something about character assassination, maybe, at the back.
I was going to say, if you make it into a board game, you should include a positive pregnancy test in the box.
Yeah, take
If
pictures.
we make it into, a board game or prop-based thing, a positive pregnancy test, fake positive COVID test as well.
Broken
Split
condoms.
condom, just so you could be like, it looks like it's used. We make something really gross. Court summons. Debt notice.
Yep.
You could call it Get Humbled.
Get humbled is his name suggestion. Yeah, self-immolation, character assassination.
Yeah.
The social afterlife or whatever. I like it. So cool. We've got that. We've got around, I'd say, 15 minutes left on this episode recording. It's an extra long one for viewers at home. Actually, it will probably be a bit quicker because we'll cut down some of the, not crosstalk, but like call-outs where it was repeated or stuff. So do you want to go back to mashing words from the pantry, or do you want to take another suggestion of a weird mechanic and try and figure out the game backwards?
Let's take another actual word suggestion. So, Alyssa, give us a word.
Eel.
Eel.
Eel has been a suggestion from girlfriend of the pod, Alyssa.
Yes, go ahead.
Luchador.
Luchador.
Luchador eel. Okay, so what like people who are familiar with the podcast might know, but people in the audience might not know, is that I am a former professional wrestler. It's not a joke, that's just a true fact. I did that for about 3 years, and now I'm disabled. It's not related to the wrestling. I also quit wrestling because it's full of scumbags. But I know a lot about wrestling. I know less about Lucha Libre compared to American or Japanese wrestling, but I still know a decent bit. So is this a game about being an eel who is a luchador?
That's like a Mexican wrestler, right?
Yeah, so that
All I know about wrestling is Rey Mysterio is a wrestler.
and he is specifically a luchador.
Oh,
So
well, there you go.
luchador is actually generally just a term for
A masked
wrestler in no, it's not, that's the
No.
thing. It's like just really a term for a wrestler in who's wrestling in Mexico, where that's called lucha libre. People still talk about, like, in American settings, they'll go, oh, this person's a luchador. They'll say Rey Mysterio is a luchador. They'll say Mystico is a luchador even when they're walking outside there. And there it's, like, about the scene.
Yeah.
You kind of don't get that, like, British, American, and Japanese wrestling all have their own styles, but the language is still sort of considered the same. So a lot of your luchadors are masked. Masks are way more popular in Lucha Libre than, like, most, virtually all other countries, but it's not necessarily a prerequisite to be a masked thing.
I think this is like a sort of Octodad thing where you have an eel with a mask on who is a wrestler. Nobody knows you have an eel.
I think in this context, you've got to be like 70 eels, though.
No, you're just one long eel.
One
who's
long
twisted
eel.
yourself into
Twisted,
sort of
yeah.
stickman, human-esque shape with a mask on. Like, probably not even the head, just like one of the ring, like one of the coils. Everyone believes it.
I was thinking it's a number of eels equal to the number of players in a luchador costume.
And if you're all doing it together, the suggestion here of... I mean, this is very... I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, I am 4 eels. Never meant to make your daughter cry. I am several fish and not a guy.
Thank you for listening to Game Soup.
Oh, you're calling it there? You're calling it there?
I do think, no. As a collaborative sort of thing, it could be cool, like... But it would be annoying. It would be like, oh, I'm rolling for left foot, moving forwards. I did it.
So that's a... Yeah. Okay. What's the suggestion?
A solution for that, every turn, one person around the table takes a turn, so that way the action gets shared across the entire party. A player gets the full body action, but you still only represent a limb or part of the character.
So a suggestion there that someone is sort of always fronting, essentially, at one time. Yeah.
Slightly more chaotic version of that. Every turn, everyone has to write down what their action is going to be without knowing what anyone else is doing, and then roll for it to see if they can succeed.
Yes, over there.
I was actually thinking you go to like Magic Maze, where you just do everything in silence.
Oh, okay, this also works.
One person can move left to left, but you have to do it all in silence with no communication at all.
So, also, I here have a suggestion. Their suggestion was going in silence. One suggestion of everyone essentially leveraging and betting their actions. This is now giving me an idea. So, for people who are not familiar with me, I made a game called Transgender Deathmatch Legend, which is a 2-player card-based beat-em-up where you're playing individual cards to represent individual moves. Like, it's like, okay, cool, I'm laying the Jack of Spades, I'm going for that spinning back elbow, someone comes back, they're like, sorry, I got the King of Spades, I'm going to catch you in a suplex. That's how a fight is determined. I think we could just do like Luchador Eel as a weird hack of this, where every player playing the Luchador Eel has their own deck. They're all saying what they want their action to be at the same time, and then it's just the highest card wins.
I was thinking you all play your card from your hand, and then you try to work out, is it like an actual poker hand? And then that's your resolution mechanic, but you don't know what anyone else is going to play.
Yeah, I think you're not allowed to communicate about, like, how you're going to do... Or at least you're not allowed to communicate explicitly. I think, you could try and be doing stuff where you're going to someone like, if it's out betting people rather than making a hand. I don't know enough about poker. You obviously do. But if it was out betting people, I wonder almost if you're being like, hey, everyone, just feel free to go low. I'm pretty sure I've got this. And someone else might be like, I think I've got this more than you do. Please don't go high. I think I've got this more. Okay, so...
Yeah, I think you're not allowed to, like, say numbers. Or
Yeah, but you could be like,
anything.
I'm really confident. But you also might be stupid.
Yes.
Alyssa.
Does each eel have its own like objective? Like, because my thing is that if everybody wants to win the fight, then they're all going to work together. But what if like one eel is sick of being like part of this luchador cosplay and wants to go back to the sea? They want to throw the fight, or one of them wants to be the champion.
What if the eels have interpersonal conflict? I also, I like the idea that maybe some of them are less motivated. We had a hidden role mechanic. One of the eels is a trader.
For the chaotic thing, if you are going to allow communication, only as weird shrieks like the eels from the Princess Bride.
Communication is allowed, but only in the form of shrieking like an eel. That is pretty fucking good at the back.
I was going to suggest a mechanic of like you all play a card, but any cards that are in the same suit, like cancel each other out because whatever you're doing, whatever each eel is doing is like messing the other eel up who's in the same suit. So you're trying to, in an ideal turn, play one card from each suit as 4 players.
Yeah, that's their suggestion of one card from each suit. So you've got to have like something. I also like this because that does really affect the communication. Like I reckon some people probably get really cutesy with it and doing lines where they're like, I really feel it in my chest that I know what suit I want to go for.
Clubs.
Sounds like I just like, I don't want to dig us into a hole we can't get out of. Spade. Clubs is a nightmare. Just like, I really want...
hit them over the head.
I want to hit... I mean, yeah, if you're a fucking luchador, you always want to hit them over the head. Are you just saying that because you're bloodthirsty or because you want to be the club? One of the lucha eels should be in the club. Yeah, over there.
Two things. Perhaps they can communicate, but they can only say the colour of the suit.
Yeah.
Ooh. If you give people, the ability to say the color, that works as well, because obviously there are only 2 of 2. I like that.
The other thing is the traitor eel could be a snake.
The traitor eel could be a snake rather than an eel who wants to go back to the sea. They just got mixed up. Like, all of the eels are like,
None of the other eels know.
You're pretty wriggly in this normal way, but, things do feel a bit different here. The Eel Luchador is a weird mechanical expansion to Transgender Deathmatch Legend.
Luch Eel Libre.
I'd see the eel and luchador feel like words that should portmanteau together in a fun way, and I don't think they do. Over at the back. Rey Mysterio. That's actually very good, yes. Lucha Moray.
Solved it.
Yeah, those are good. Some good, solid puns.
I'm happy to call it there.
Yeah, also that maybe makes sense. Thank you for listening to Game Soup, to the live audience. Thank you for listening along at home. If, actually, because we've got an audience, before we do the clap, I'll just say, so my name's Kayla Dice. You can find my stuff at ratwave.uk. I've currently got a game on Kickstarter called Psychodungeon. If you come to the Soul Muppet store in Hall 1 360, happy to tell you way more about it. Chloe, where can you be found at the convention today?
Yeah, I'm at the UK Indie League stall, also in Hall 1. We've just released a game called No Picnics in the Dungeon. It is a PBTA dungeon crawler inspired by Dungeon Meshi. So, yeah, and we have at stall 856.
Also in Hall 1.
Yeah. You can find our stuff if you just Google Biscuit Fund Games. Should hopefully come up. I'd hope so.
Do you have biscuits again this year?
We do have biscuits. So come to the stall, get a biscuit.
The titular biscuits. Thank you for listening to Game Soup.
Thank you.
Goodbye!